everybody, welcome back. We are in the Rabbit. Got the seat mounted in here. I managed to not pick up too much of the Cheeto dust that's floating around in here from sanding all the orange paint. The other time I came out of here, I looked like a Cheeto. So where we're at today, give you guys a little quick update on the Jetta project. I've still got a few plugs that I'm trying to figure out where they came from. I thought I had everything dialed in just right, but there's two plugs that I still can't find in the wiring harness that need to hook up to the combi valve, and I think it's the N249. So I got to sit down with the manual and figure out what color wires they are and where they come out of the harness and all that stuff. So we're getting really close to putting the front end of the car back on. I had to fab up some stuff. That little metal tube I was talking about using the last time we talked about the Jetta. I was not able to use the metal tube. I actually ended up just using a piece of regular rubber vacuum hose and extending the hose so that it reached. Still works good, just not the way I intended to fix it, but we got a good fix out of it, and it'll probably last the life of the car. So here we are. We are in the Rabbit. Today I am going to get this piece made. I'm going to figure out how far away I want this shifter to be, and I'm going to build a little platform that we're going to probably just end up making a bolt-in deal here to where the shifter sits. I'll kind of show you guys what we're dealing with. I got sockets and bolts rolling around on the floor here. So here is the shifter assembly, not yet mounted in the vehicle, but this is the shifter assembly that's required for having a cable shift transmission. And the cables are going to exit through those holes in the firewall, and then we're going to have to punch another, because there's one hole already there, I think, with a grommet for an automatic transmission, and I may just try to feed these both through the same hole and then grommet that hole. So one thing I have to figure out is why the forward and back on this shift linkage doesn't work, and it might just be because it's not fastened to the box here. But like right now, if I try to shift, it shouldn't be that difficult to move forward and back. It goes side to side, and you can see, I don't know if you can see that with the light shining the way it is, but the side to side cable's moving just fine, but the forward and back one's not. So it could be that the cable's seized up. Who knows? But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some bolts, and I'm going to make sure that this is fastened and tight, and then we'll start measuring. How high we want this platform to sit. I don't want to go too high because we still got factory carpet that's going to go in here, and it's probably going to have to steam the carpet so that it contours to the interior. But I've got the seat just about where I would prefer to have it, maybe a little bit further back. So let's get to it. I put some bolts in here, and it looks like now I figured out that the cable was just seized in there. So that may be something that we replace. It's probably a good idea just to replace that whole cable. I can get one, probably a used one in good condition, for a couple of dollars at a junkyard, and I'll just replace it as part of putting this thing together. No sense in wasting time with a cable that's acting weird. So but I tried to get this in about the middle of the throw, just so that I can have an idea of where neutral is, and it seems like it's in a pretty good spot if I go back. Oops. Cable hit the tripod, knocked it over. So if that is all the way forward, we should figure out where. That's about where fifth gear is going to be. I don't know if I want to reach quite that far for fifth gear, although it seems like it's not too bad right there. But I want to try just to block it up on something and see if that makes a difference. All right, so I just grabbed like a U.S. Postal mailing box, just something I can set it on. And this box is about 2.5 inches tall. So if we go all the way to fifth gear, that really makes it sit up quite a ways, though. I'm not sure if I like that either. That'd be cool in a motorsport car, but I don't know if that's going to be too good in a street car. Okay, just to catch you up, since you guys were all at super speed there for a minute. So this is the plate that originally held the shifter that bolts into the floor. I saved it as a template so that I can make a piece of cardboard which will drop into the floor. It's going to bend up at probably a 45-degree angle or so. And then there'll be another plate that gets welded on top of here that'll be larger, that will have some holes drilled in it so I can access the bolts, bolt it right to the floor pan, and then it'll be larger so that the shifter mechanism will actually bolt right to this. So I can take it all out. I can make a new one if I need to, instead of just like welding it to the floor or whatever. So if I decide I want to change it later, I can just take this out, make a new one, make it taller, make it shorter, whatever I want to do. So that is the plan. So now it's almost as tall as my... I just need to find something that's got about the same height as this so I can set it inside, and then I'll set it in the car, set the shifter on it, make sure it all jives with where I want it to be, and then we will make this out of metal and weld it up, and then we'll make the plate that goes on top that matches the base of the shifter that's already there. So let's do it. Now the next step is to get our shifter assembly, and we need to make a bottom. So should be pretty easy. I think we'll just measure length and width. So it's 12 by 5 3/8. And we'll just cut that out of steel, and then we'll make a recess for this piece, and then we'll attach it to the top of the box. All right, so this is where we're at so far. We have obviously a much larger matchup for the shift box than we do the base, which is okay. So now we need to figure out where that hole is so that the recess will sit down here like it's supposed to. So it starts 4 inches back. Which is right there. Ends 3 inches and it is let's go 1/2 inch. Half an inch from either side. Pretty basic square. Alright, so let's offer this up as a test piece. Yep, it looks like it fits and mounts flush. So that should work well. And we'll have this welded to it. And we'll probably reinforce on the ends here a little bit just to make sure it stays strong. So let's go set this in the car and see how it looks. Alright everyone, moment of truth. We are going to bolt this into the car. Alright, so here we are, one more day of production. This is in the car. It is bolted to the exhaust tunnel, and then the shifter bolts to it. So if I need to take it out and replace it, it's easy to do. It'd be nice to stiffen up the front of this just a little bit more to make it a little more rigid in the front, but otherwise it's in a good, feels like it's in a good spot. Got reverse. Everything seems to be working out well. So that will be the end of the episode for today. We are one step closer to getting this floor pan painted. I feel good about getting this done. I wanted to do the fabrication on this before I painted the interior. I'll obviously take this whole assembly out before I paint everything inside. So what do we have left to do on the inside of the Rabbit? We have the holes that these little plugs cover up. We need to fix those, either weld them back in or We'll probably use some seam sealer on them as well, but we're going to weld these back into the body because I don't see the need to ever take them out. And I have one hole up in the corner, a rust hole that I need to take care of on the inside of the floor pan. And once those are done, we are ready to prep the interior for paint, which is a good thing. I want to get this done before September because the rainy season's coming and we're only have so much nice weather out here. So that is it for today. Next episode will be, I haven't figured out yet, but it will be either getting the Jetta wagon running and ready for sale, or more work on this, getting all the interior stuff finished up on the floor pan. So until next time, thanks for watching. For those of you that are critiquing my welding, it's getting better. Thanks so much for the tips and tricks on setting up the welder. I felt like the first half of making this little box went kind of rugged, but kind of settled into a rhythm and started remembering the tips and tricks you guys were telling me. So I appreciate those. And until next time, get out there and work on something.